All right. So thank you. Last time we were here, the clapping is really good. Um, so last time we were here, you guys were in a violent conflict with a sort of street level criminal and overall sort of annoying science boy, Lewis, who had stolen a significant amount of material and research from his fellow, very rare mechanically inclined students from the College of Ingenuity. Um, and as he had absolutely fully kidnapped an inspector and a constable, a guard, um, like just jumping the gun right from like theft and selling drugs into full kidnapping of an officer of the peace, attempting to, yeah, near attempted, certainly attempted murder on you guys. Like that there was a big fight. He had a lot of stuff going on. He had a wand that magnetized a bunch of pieces into a swirling, sort of directionally oriented mass of just bits and unfinished wires and screws just flying around, uh, trying to damage you guys. While he had his a modified power arm, something he had stolen from another student, one that you guys actually disliked more, I think, more than Lewis, who did try to kill you. Um, stolen from another student, and he was hitting pretty hard. But the most dangerous thing in the room was absolutely Sam's misplaced prosthetic leg, as it kicked around the room, striking people at random. It almost killed him before you guys had a chance to fully question him, having fallen unconscious, being struck by Tiven. Tiven had to throw himself in the way, taking the brunt of the hit, which would have absolutely just crushed um, Lewis's head. But taking the hit, destroying the rest of the scrap swarms, and uh, cutting the power to the leg, you guys ended the conflict, released Inspector Greg and the other constable, and then waited for other people to come and start taking stock of sort of the crime scene. And not a lot of information in this room led you anywhere other than somewhere that um, you probably would have had Ian remained alive, you would have eventually ended up here as just sort of part of your normal investigation. So, progressing to that point, the party has made their way to Bart's sort of hovel on the bad side of town. So what you're looking at is like sort of it's like you're looking at like buildings that may or may not be abandoned. Like they're just the ones that people kind of ignore, and whether or not there are like people that own it and want rent, or if people own them and just don't take care of them, or if it's just sort of like worker housing for like people that are probably not going to be right, seasonal workers, people that come in and then leave, um, kind of thing. You're directed by um, I think Inspector Greg was the one leading sort of where you guys were going. Sort of a basement. So it's like one of those things where there's like a business on top, and then you go around the back alley and there's a door that leads down into like sort of a cellar flat. And he comes in, he starts messing with the lock. He says, uh, I'll be damned, this door is locked. Do any of you have thieves' tools? Or do any of you have le- le- do any of you have legitimate lock picking tools, not thieves' tools, as we are in proper lawfully gained employment here, and where our impression is this building is abandoned, as the tenant has been missing for what you say as weeks.
Komarov will make a set of these tools out of stone. Be like these.
What does that look like? So do you pick them up from like the cobbles on the ground, or do you like produce them just in your hands?
So his aura activates, and he just takes bits of stone and just kind of shapes them into uh, the thieves' tool shape. And
Mhm.
then the aura shuts off, and he's like this.
He pulls them from your. First, he asks, "Are you any good with them?" But he's looking like rather impressed. He's like, "That's a really good trick."
I can't remember if I'm any good at them. I see a thievery roll. I don't remember if I'm good at that. Oh, I am trained in thievery. I'm okay at it.
Yeah, he sort of makes he like opens the way for you, steps aside. He'll give you an aid action,
Yeah.
which he passes.
See what happens. Oh, it's a pretty good first roll of the day.
Yeah, 18. You feel the first tumbler lock undo. You have the impression that this is not a great lock, as any lock labeled great would need like 6 successes.
Hmm.
But you've tripped the first tumbler. You're on your way. Go ahead and make that second one. He'll aid one more time, just sort of giving you pointers, and that is another pass. Yeah. So with the second tumbler flipped, you get the door open. You like get your stone in the lock. Your like little slate lock picks and like weird little bent hooks of stone. You get them in the lock, and you get the deadbolt open. You get the like push the door open, and you see that it's actually, as the door has been opened, this place has been like sort of, or rather, this is when we make our perception checks. So you walk into sort of another, not as large as Lewis's like sort of lab area, but another like one room, studio styled sort of hovel where you have everything is in like main site, but about half the size. You've got like your one table, like a couple stools. Um, Obviously, like less. Inclined towards having like money or connections. And it looks like a lot of stuff has been sort of turned over. One of the stools is on its side. And upon opening the door, it's obvious to see that it had actually been like put back after having been like fussed with before. So the lock might have even been sort of damaged to the point where it was easier to open just in whatever time.
Mhm. Let's see. Um, I will. Komarov will return the stones once they came to nothingness,
Mhm.
and then we'll take a look around. Komarov's hot tonight.
Here, Komarov, you're looking around. What about Chell? So this place is pretty chaotic, pretty messy. Keitha, I think you're just sort of having. I think your eyes aren't adjusted to the dark. Uh, it's still like in the twilight zone of like the sun is going down, and that is the hardest light to see things in. with the
Uh,
exception of very
yeah,
specific kinds of predators.
I'm happy to, you know, do the clear and obvious thing, which is make a perception test and search the room as well. You know,
Yeah. 19. So, Chell, you're looking at the room, and you have sort of an impression of all of the options of everything that could have happened in this room, sort of relayed to you in the way you process information. Like the stools have been knocked over, but it's not as though they have been like thrown over. So the first scenario you go through is that there was a struggle, but you think that this place might be a combination of a place that was already messy, that somebody who was a little careless came through looking for information afterwards.
okay, that makes
So
sense.
you rule out violence. Komarov, you see um, the things that you're picking up on are a lot of what Chell also looked through as sort of a scoundrel. I think you have an understanding of what spaces look like when they've been ransacked, and this is a lot less of like a robbery or a fight to like remove someone forcibly from this place, rather than someone who was looking for information and they just weren't necessarily that great at it.
Mhm.
But you see, the most obvious thing you see is that somebody had obviously come through here and looked through it, but sort of on the table, like there's a space that has sort of been cleared of junk, and there is just a flyer advertising that Dr. Philorn's office is looking for guinea pigs.
Mhm.
Like and this is the clue. So now this lines up with everything that Ian had told you, and this is probably why he had the suspicions he had,
Mhm.
because Bart was always looking in your estimation from being told to you the little that Ian was able to convey to you guys before he went missing, and what the guards have been pretty forthcoming with you as sort of contractors that are taking the brunt of something that would otherwise be like sort of low stakes, because these guys, as far as they are concerned, this is like way on the back burner. Too low level, like sort of nuisances go missing and like turn up dead. Of course they turn up dead, you know.
Mhm.
Um, so they're pretty relaxed that you guys are able to come in and do this. And from what they've told you, um, he was always trying to run some sort of scam that would inevitably like turn up bad. And it does say payment on like anything coming about from the visit.
Mhm. And just
Because it's
so
sort
it's
of
clear in my mind, does it literally say guinea pigs, or is it
no,
like
it so I think
volunteers or
Komarov
something?
corrects in his head to guinea pigs, but what it says is um, finan- financial reimbursement for medical testing those with unique conditions or situations. But the word like financial uh, reimbursement is like bolded.
Mhm.
So I think Komarov sees all those words and it like corrects in your head to say medical guinea pig.
Okay.
So it's like one step a little less overt, but still not really that sly.
Mhm. Looks like the good doctor was looking for volunteers.
He does not know me.
This is true. I do
But
not
were
know
you
if he
not
needs these
you were
volunteers before.
he doesn't know you, but you were there today. We talked to him today. He saw
Yes,
you.
with my helmet on and in full armor.
Yeah, and you know what? Actually, that's fair enough. I don't know what you look like under all that.
I will go if no one else can. Also,
Look,
it's not like we couldn't just hire some people off the street to go in there.
we're actually way not allowed to do that if I'm in this room.
No,
See,
we would duly inform them of what is going on. We would not
if
trick
you
them.
I
now,
mean, we do not know what is going on.
yeah, my point is we could try to find someone who has been medical guinea pig. When we were now, this is actually a question. I am as the GM. I do not recall. I don't know if you guys even asked Dr. Philorn about Bart.
Hmm.
Wasn't his name was on the list that we got from him, wasn't it?
No,
Hmm.
you guys didn't actually ask about patients. You asked about people that did the
Oh,
thing he
yeah.
did.
Okay.
So you guys
Yeah.
you guys didn't get a lit. You got a list of
Well, I never knew
engineers
Bart,
and
so I would not
no,
have
yeah,
to ask about him. Yeah.
no, yeah, and the party actually only knew that Ian was looking for Bart. They were really early on in that, and this is just sort of like the train's running now, right? So like the the question of like without Ian, the question of like, so where's Balthazar? Where's this weird like criminal guy? Like here's his description. Wouldn't have come up because you guys don't know him. But you also only asked about like practitioners of the like prosthesis. You didn't get a list of patients or people that had gotten limb replacements.
Hmm.
Or I'm going to assert this in a way where we can let the dice determine whether or not this town has progressed socially to the point of real confidentiality, but I am inclined to think that is like later in like a historical sort of progression, right?
Also, respectfully, that kind of confidentiality in this time period would come with power,
Yeah,
right?
like Bart
Like the
wouldn't have
king's doctor will
confidentiality.
keep its mouth shut, but
Yes.
some street dog will tell whatever he wants to whoever he wants. You know?
Yeah, no, I think that's probably the case. And like if you meet like someone who's like a medical practitioner that's like, the low stakes like, "Oh yeah, I sort of just help the people in the neighborhood." Respectfully because of the neighbors, I think like you're like your village elder that knows stuff about herbs isn't going to tell everyone about all your weird rashes. But like a doctor who is like a surgeon like being presented with like an investigation that has like an inspector and like potentially a crime, they'll probably tell you whatever, or at least expect a bribe, depending on the doctor.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
sacrifice a strange one.
also I would not make a very good candidate for guinea pig hood. Not a lot of people with uh you know 18 strength walking around the slums wanting to be experimented on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, I have like no lying ability. I would be like, yes, fellow humans, I am here for experimentation.
We might see if anyone around has anyone else has taken up the offer as well.
Yes, you want to just roll around the slums?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
because
you
it would be
guys,
a little weird, more suspicious if this was the only flyer we saw.
yeah. So you guys can make either diplomacy checks, society checks, or does anybody have any, or underworld lore would be another one, but I'm not sure anyone present has underworld lore.
No.
Or if you have a feat that is some sort of information gathering feat, you can pitch that to me for another skill.
Mhm.
Let's see
Let's
here.
see.
I do not.
I don't want to Batman around with intimidation, so we'll try diplomatizing.
Yeah, Inspector Greg is available to give the aid action. Basically, he's prepared to aid with anyone, but he's going to let you guys go forward because he is worried the people. Now, I'm worried the people in sort of this side of town is not going to want to talk to me, you know.
Mhm.
So I'll come in if anybody asks for help.
It is because they fear you will corrupt them with your smoke, yes?
I mean, I think if they had what I had, they'd be a lot more calm, right? I don't think they're worried about being corrupted. I think they're worried about wanting to get the good stuff, and then he takes a huge fat hit. Oh yeah,
Hmm.
Chell, did you want to make sort of information gathering check? You can use
I
society if you have society.
I do not have society. That is
Okay.
not a thing I have.
Use athletics to just climb up on buildings
Yeah,
and
I mean I
hear
have
through things.
academia is
Oh,
yeah, like my character
you
is
have
good at a lot of things, but
Mhm.
talking to people to figure out stuff is not one of them.
So
Yeah.
you have gathered some information. Incidentally, you've gathered some information about
Yeah.
Ian and Bart. Incidentally, you've gathered some information about the way Dr. Philorn works. You've been in his
Oh
lab,
yeah, no,
or you've walked
I'm
around in
very
there.
good.
If you
Like I'm
want,
not good at it. I can gather information. So
well, I just
Mhm.
meant like if you want to use academia lore, the
okay,
DC will be different, but that would be
I
no,
do
yeah,
not know anything
yeah,
about
you don't.
anything.
Yeah, you don't figure it out.
Nope, I
You're
do not.
still
Oh.
pretty stuck on
I
you
rolled
understand
poorly.
that this is sort of socially and emotionally necessary for people to move on with, but you're still like pretty goal oriented. You know
Yes.
where you want to be going.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm like,
yeah,
this does not relate to murdering those evil bug things.
yeah.
Mhm.
I'm
Um,
trying to
so
facilitate getting to that.
yeah, yeah,
Also, my
you're
deep
facilitating.
hatred of that one mechanical student.
Oh, oh,
Yeah,
what
who is
was?
the only person I have ever hated in my entire life. So,
Oh, was it Simon? There was
yeah, I
Sam and
believe
there was
so. Yeah,
Lewis.
yeah. I hate him. I
Yeah,
hate him so much.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Sam's great. So Chell, you are trying to line up all of the information you've
You know
gathered
what?
about
I'm
what's
not.
going
I'm
on,
not trying
and
to. I'm
remember his,
thinking about how much I hate Simon.
yeah, you
I
remember his
really
voice.
fucking hate that guy. Like I'm
You remember his
distracted
voice,
now.
and it just overshadows
Yeah,
everything.
I don't know how to
Um,
process this feeling I'm feeling right now. How
yeah.
much I hate
Um,
Simon.
uh,
God, I hate that guy.
Komarov and Katha, what questions are you asking?
You know, we could just kidnap Simon and then just throw him to the doctor, right? Fucking
We'd have to convince him.
Convince him? No, he would not get a say in this.
Inspector Greg is like, hey, big guy, let's go take a seat. Let's go calm down. I'm gonna show you some things that we do to calm down in sort of this side of town. He takes you off and you take a little walk with Inspector Greg. So Kay thought you're asking pretty directly about like anyone who's actually gone and inquired about the flyer itself. And I will say with sort of incidentally as you're walking around town, you do see that there are more flyers, but it looks like they have been there a while, uh, and they're not good. It's not good enough paper to have the like little rip this little part off where you'd get like pull the phone number off because there's also not phones. They just have to go up and say the right stuff to the people in the lab. So you meet a couple of people that are like sort of just on the street. They look like they're playing like a dice game, but like really just sort of trying to burn some burn the night a little bit. Like they're between bars, like the one they want to go to isn't open yet because it's like seedy enough that it doesn't even open until like at closer to midnight, and they're just sort of playing dice games in the street, trying to see who picks up the first tab. And they're like, yeah, I haven't inquired about that because I don't got anything interesting going on with me. But my mother went and asked, and she's got this like crazy growth on her leg, where he sticks his leg out subconsciously. He's like, is where her leg is like way bigger and the ankle is like super swelled up. And when she came home, she said that he didn't think she was interesting enough. So I think he's looking for like craziest stuff, you know?
Hmm.
Like he wanted to like really cut open on some people and he just told her that he needed medicine. That but not what one.
Hmm.
He said that could be fixed easily and then didn't do it. Like he didn't care. A different guy, as you sort of say, first rounds on me. Uh, he says, one of the guys I work with sometimes. He talked about going and inquiring about the flyer, and he said the only person that they were really interested in, because a couple of the guys all went together. They ask about your family lineage, and one of the questions he said that stood out, because not all the guys can even read, so they had to be read out loud. So someone who had more questions asked to him before being dismissed was about odd happenings around your family, or if you could had like sort of an innate elemental spell, like if you could access things like that. They were really interested in that more than any sort of like odd condition, though he did seem interested in people willing to have sort of things removed as well. So part of that was elementally significant, is the way my coworker put it. Thanks for the round, um, sir. And they all sort of like tip their flat caps. Oh, I'm so sorry. They're all really apologetic and sheepish for a second. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't. I've never seen it. I've never. And then they all walk away. um, Komarov, what kind of questions are you asking?
Um, let's see. Is there like I think Komarov, his angle is He wants to know because he doesn't have a firm grasp on money. So I think he's one of his questions is why anyone would do this. Like, what sort of reasons would you just like allow someone to just poke you? And uh, he wants to know if anyone who's been accepted as a subject has come back from it. So I think those are his two main ones. He's just genuinely confused as to why you would do this. And then is like, but then his focus would be on he wants to know if anyone has come back after being accepted.
Yeah, so you are asking people sort of why would you do that? And the answer you get is you get a lot of answers that I think you don't really understand just because like it's such a flat one sentence answer.
Mhm,
Need money, you know?
mhm,
And I think you run into someone who's like who looks like their stuff had been nice at one point in time, but he's like laying in the gutter and he's
mhm,
like got a big old like half full bottle of something that smells really strong, and he's just sort of looking up at the sky as the sun is going down, and he says, "Yeah, it's kind of a conundrum, huh? Why do we? What drives us to do anything outside of our nature?" Just talking really
mhm,
flowery and philosophical. Um, and he says, there are only so many things that can put you off of what your natural instincts are, and one of those is safety. One of those is survival. Why would you go to this crazy guy to get poked at? He's offering you some money. What? Why? What is that? What does it matter to you? Well, the money has taken over some part of your brain, right? It has to have. Otherwise you wouldn't do that, right? You're
mhm,
either it's either or the thing that's taken over you is a lack of knowledge. There's something wrong with you and you don't know what it is. So this crazy doctor is offering to look at anyone with a weird thing. If you've never gotten answers from people around you, you know, then you go to the crazy guy, right? So the answer is both ways. Whether you have a lack of something, both ways you have a lack of something. One of them is money, which has taken over something in your life, or it is a lack of knowledge, which can give you peace of mind, right? And he's looking at you, and his eyes are like so glassy. He just cannot focus on you. And he goes on this whole lecture, and he says, I think people do it. They're both different kinds of desperation, you know? Where do
mhm,
you go when you have no other options? Where do you go when you have no other answers to give? Got to take a gamble. Got to roll the dice, man.
mhm.
You got any crack? you
Um,
you got any
he
crack you
will.
could sell me?
We're going to use Komarov's ignorance, and he'll just shrug, and he'll just make like a piece of brittle stone. You know, he's like, "Here, crack it."
Crack it. Uh,
Yeah.
he watches you do this, is baffled for a second, and then he looks at you like really softly smiling, throws the piece like down onto the cobbles. It makes this really loud, satisfying cracking sound, and he says, "That's what life is about, man." Anyway, I'm gonna go find some drugs. And he walks away. The next person you ask about the other thing, though, I forgot what your other question was. People that came back. People that
It's
came back.
okay.
You find you actually get really lucky. You find sort of an older woman walking from one place to another. She's like dragging a cart behind her that's sort of affixed to her with a belt or a rope, and it looks as though she has sort of a more rudimentary, but like a hinged prosthetic leg,
Mhm.
sort of showing under like sort of a worn dress. You see that like it has a metal hinge, and like she's not wearing a shoe on that foot, like she is on the other one. And you ask her, just sort of leading in, you just ask like, I think instinctively, where did you get that? And that leads into the conversation.
Mhm.
Um, and she says, "Yeah, I went up and I came back. At first, they were really interested in my condition. My leg had sort of mutated, and they asked if I was willing to have a limb removed. And I said, if it's this limb, then yes." And they sort of went and got a new questionnaire after that. So I guess that's step two, because a lot of people, when they said no, they were just sent away. And then they asked if I had any oddities in my family lineage. And my father's father, had been some sort of sea pirate who could like he did like spells to he could move the ship with magic. He was good at that. It was very valuable. Um, and that was a story I told them, and they seemed to think that was worth it. But when they did the examination on me, um, the doctor said that I didn't have enough access to whatever that was to get a better leg. So he did still. He hesitated for a long time, but he said that he was in a good mood, and he sort of fitted me with this one. It's rather comfortable, actually. His candor as a man was poor, but the leg
Mhm.
itself is held up for. It seems as though it will outlast the time I have left.
Mhm.
Are you thinking about? And she stops in the middle of this sentence and she examines your arms and she says, well, at least one other person came back. Why are you asking if you've already gotten sort of the better treatment? Young, young. You're green?
Mhm.
You're one of those, one of those things. I can never tell how old you are. I'm not
Mhm.
usually taller than the person I'm talking to, unless they're a child.
Mhm. It is understandable. Many of the Minrothans do not leave their city. Uh, but there was a man taken, and we are trying to find out what happened to him. So I
Taken.
wanted to know.
Who would have been taken?
Oh, his name was, what was it? Bart. Yes.
Ba- Oh, Bart, the rascal that lives in the basement over there.
Mhm.
You know that the business above that used to make paint thinner. Nobody lived down there because everyone would get sick and die from the fumes. But
Mhm.
Bart seemed to have a good time with it. Um, you know, I've been on the block for a while. You're obviously talking to someone that doesn't have like a permanent place of housing. She's
Mhm.
carrying this cart around with her. Um, and she says, Bart always did good by me, but he was always doing something, you know, he always was aiming too big, but not thinking through it enough.
Mhm.
He talked to me about it, just like you are. and he said that he had something interesting that would get him past the second sort of step. Something that was interesting enough that the doctor would give him whatever, I guess. Though I don't think Bart needed to have something removed, to my knowledge. But he
Mm-hmm.
seemed to think his family history was interesting enough to warrant an examination.
Mm-hmm.
And he seemed excited for some kind of payout. I didn't get paid necessarily because there was nothing new experiment like to be done, but I did get the leg out of it. So that did me just fine. I haven't seen Bart around in a while.
Yes, he has moved on.
You know, that's good. Gotta get out of this side of town.
Mm-hmm.
It'll eat you if you stay too long. And then she sort of starts to meander away, reminiscing to herself about the stories of her magically inclined grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
So between like sort of talking to people for like probably about an hour goes by. You're just walking around between like the various um like truly like the pubbiest pub where it is just someone's house and people are going in there drinking and getting kicked out. Um, you find these people to talk to, and you find out that the things that Dr. Forlorn was interested in is people that had some sort of lineage that had access to an elemental aspect, and were willing to have sort of like different random surgeries done on their body or like a combination of those two things. Basically, any one of them would get you through the door.
Mm-hmm.
And also, Komarov had sort of like a lecture from some crack addled former businessman or lecturer about the nature of desperation and money and
Mm-hmm.
the way importance of things changes in your life depending on your circumstances. Um, and Chell has to go cool down with the inspector because they keep talking about murdering some kid that was just sort of weird. He was just sort of weird, and Chell wants to kill him so bad. Um, so you guys make your rounds, meet back up, and Inspector Greg goes out and says, "Did you find anything out? Anything substantive?"
Mm-hmm. And um, Komarov will come look for like a quiet place and kind of and signal everyone to come follow him. And uh, he'll say,
Inspector Greg is like, "Is this me as well, or is this like a? I don't know you guys outside of this, so if this is personal, I'll stand over here."
"Yeah, I don't want the inspector in on it."
Okay, hey, dude, you have your moment there.
Hmm. And so, uh,
I'll follow the inspector as I know. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
so,
that makes sense actually. So it's just
so it's
Kamal and
just
Kippa,
me and Katha. And so,
and
to
Tibbin is sort
Katha,
of there.
I'll say, for the orcs, for our connection to the spirits to work is through our hands, our arms. This is, we can't do any of our powers or anything if we do not have them. It is what provides our connection to the spirits. The spirits work through that. It is why these, he holds up his arms, are so shameful. Yes.
Uh, K-Thought, go ahead and make uh, K-Thought, go ahead and make some sort of if you have Arcana or Nature. Oh, boom. Yeah, you can roll. You can try Religion. It'll be harder, but you could roll Religion. Medicine will not work for what I was thinking.
Oh, nice.
24. So Kitha, you've been around Komarov for a long time, and the way he's describing things makes a lot of sense from in a lot of ways. But like he's sort of describing the way a culture that hasn't like a culture that specifically goes out of its way not to have like a lot of permanence. It's like all oral traditions. They're not quantifying themselves, right? The way that like they don't have academies, they don't have scholars, they have shamans, they have storytellers. They have chieftains and people that live and like tell stories from the way they live, sort of in the moment a lot more. But you know that in any spell casting, like the most common thing ever is like a somatic component, which might not always be true for the thing Komarov is talking about, but it's not unfounded to be like, that is where connection to magic comes from, is like the hands. You do need to be able to gesture. So it's like he's describing it in a very instinctual way. Um, and there might even be rules to it that are different because he's not like casting spells, but it's very obviously magic. So
And
you're seeing like where those two traditions sort of butt in to his sort of description of his experience of this sort of connection he and his people have to this thing. Um, as it relates to what you know about the next most similar thing, which is just spell casting, but that is even religiously oriented, a little more um I don't, regimented in the way that it's more like you can be taught a spell, but I don't think you understand that Komarov could learn an ability from someone else. They would have to figure it out on their own.
from Komarov's knowledge, which is limited, of course, but from Komarov's knowledge, um, if you lose your arms, you can't do. Um, you essentially can't be a kineticist anymore in game terms.
Yeah.
Like he's never heard of prosthetics working this way.
Mhm.
Um, like there might be stories of like one of the spirits like replacing a limb, but it's very obvious when your hand is made of fire now what that looks like, and this isn't it. So as far
Yeah,
as Komarov is concerned, like it's what he's doing is literally impossible
Mhm.
and it's unnatural. Like, it's not supposed to be this way. But
Um,
he also makes
I'm
it
a,
clear that he didn't want it. He also says that uh, he didn't want it known because, like, if war breaks out, like, and that knowledge spreads, like, that could be a tipping point people use against his people. Mhm.
their one weakness is that without all of their limbs, they're worse in combat.
Mhm. Well, I mean, like, I don't know if we decided about how normal prosthetics work outside of Mineralton, but, like, generally for the Pathfinder rules, if you have a um, prosthetic limb, it just works, you know?
So I always put this through the lens of, especially in uh this comes around to this would have been months ago. You guys probably forgot about it, but Anthony talked about like the ways you make money being like really weighed in one direction, and
Mhm.
I always come down to that's because you're an adventurer. You're not like if you stopped and like really sat down and started crafting some stuff and like had a business that was designed specifically to make money, you would then no longer be an adventurer, right? So like
Right.
an adventurer, someone who has like class levels, someone who has like raised above the like standard, because like a normal person has like 12 hit points, right? Like a lawyer, like someone with a weird specialty might have like more hit points incidentally, but they're still not going to be good in a fight. So like an adventurer that has a prosthetic has learned to like incorporate that with themselves. But like even an average sailor, people who are hardy with like, a hook, they're still
Yeah.
not going to be great at it, you know? So like and that is to say prosthetics are pretty normal, but that's because they're normal everywhere. If you need like a crutch or someone that can like affix something to a missing leg so that you can move around, you're not going to
Mhm.
be running the way an adventurer could be, but that's just sort of incidental to your experience, so the rule for adventurers, people with class levels, is that it works is just because you've put the time in to do it. A
Mhm.
normal person, that's just sort of the end of it. Like, even if you have an innate spell like ability, if you lose your hand, you can't cast that anymore.
Mhm. 'Cause, yeah, we haven't really come up, so we haven't decided how it's gonna work in our world, but prostheses are fairly cheap, and they
Mhm.
do full functionality of whatever you're replacing, which gets into kind of a weird part because it says any body part, and I'm like, really thought of
I
that before. You can
I
have a
had to have
prosthetic
I
mustache or
had to
something,
have my whole ass replaced.
pretty much.
Just saying, you get a butt cheek bit off by a shark, you're happy for that
Oh,
ass replacement.
you
Exactly.
gotta have, if you're sitting lopsided the whole time, that messes with your whole spine.
Mhm.
Yep.
You can't be Hank Killing it all around there. You
Yeah.
know,
Right.
you gotta
And
have
so,
something.
but at least for me, I like the idea that kineticism in Majia, because already went different from how it is in the game.
Mm.
Um, that I like the idea that it does require like that you can't normally do it with a prosthesis. So like these permanent injuries are like really debilitating to them. And it's a secret that they don't share because of that.
Like if you were to look at it like people think of as like a diagram of chakra, like each thing is represented as a part of your body, and just like if you don't have the hands, the sort of connection, the output of how you do things is just sort of cut off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Or
I think that
like,
makes sense.
American, we don't tell the rest of the world, but Americans can't function without bacon because we don't want them to know,
Yeah. If you cripple the pork industry, no more Americans.
Yeah.
Which might actually just be true, but in a different, less physiological way.
Yeah.
Um, more of a slower way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys, Komarov talks about how his abilities work and why this is sort of so upsetting to him on a visceral level. Komarov, go ahead and I think you have nature. Go ahead and make a nature check.
Let's see. I feel like this is when the dice are like, well, you've had your time in the sun, you're done.
Yeah.
Yep, there we
Yeah.
go.
Absolutely.
It's fun.
Komarov, I think you're a little upset. Like Keitha, you're having your internal sort of conversation with yourself about like where one field of sort of like thing ends and where another one begins, and like how much crossover is there. And Komarov, I think you're just sort of ruminating on your situation. But either way, you guys have a little more information and a couple more lines of questioning to open up if you want to go talk to Dr. Forlorn, or if you want to present someone that you think qualifies to try and sort of get in there. Um,
Well, so I know tomorrow is Komarov's operation, right?
yes.
Okay.
So tomorrow you'll be getting your like replacement arms
Mhm.
that you've made a deal for, sort of for I feel like indentured servitude is a little harsher than the deal was. I think you rolled pretty well, but it is
Mhm.
effectively like uh, a relationship that is specific to like finding things that stand out and are wondrous and bringing them back to the doctor as repayment.
Mhm. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, so you'll actually be in the the labs and stuff during like the preparations and stuff tomorrow anyway.
mhm. Yeah. We may also want to hunt the creature that tore off the arms of all those people, and myself included. We may have some answers. I
But
know the
Mhm.
memory, and I can take us to the place where it was.
Yeah, the memory that you drank uh yeah, the memory the reason you yeah, the reason you know like you have like confirmation and you have like an image is because of the alchemy that you consumed earlier that had this well-to-do human adventurer who had made some like friends and was like going off on his silly adventures on the way home. They were all killed and had all of their arms specifically on purpose ripped off. So you got to experience that again.
Yeah.
Um, and that was this guy's last memory. Will, I don't know if you knew that happened.
I did not, but now I do.
Yeah, that was something that Komarov had his arms ripped off, and then he had the dying memory of another man who also had his arms ripped off, implanted into his head by a potion.
I mean,
Got to feel it
Yeah.
twice. Yeah, wasn't great.
Not very many can lose that. Not very many people can recall accurately losing more limbs than they
Mhm.
had originally. Um,
I agree with you, voice in my head.
um, yeah, so Komarov's distracted. He's thinking about other stuff. He's not thinking about he's not thinking about spell casting or actually like the clinical aspect of what's been going on, but he is thinking about sort of like all of these bad memories and how they relate to who he thinks he is, and like the alienation of not having had the sort of autonomy to make the choice for himself, which I think is a whole other thing. But yeah, so you guys have it's only a few more questions, but they are questions you didn't have access to before. So you haven't asked Dr. Filorn directly about Bart at all. You also have a little more information about like what he's looking for in someone, and Katha at least had the thought that Komarov fits that significantly better than anyone in Minralthan, regardless of their like, with very few exceptions. Maybe someone in the College of Magisters has like a sorcerer bloodline, but they probably don't want to go get experimented on by the crazy guy in the other college. So it's a very loose, very thin, like, amount of people that he's looking for, but he is sort of looking in that pocket of things. Um, so you guys reconvene. What do you guys want to do? So you know that Bart elected to go do this to try and scam or get some payment, or potentially even to like just gain access to the facility and rob it. You've been told he'll do some pretty wild and un unnecessary things to try and get ahead. So the options are pretty open for as far as like what he was doing, but that's the thing that he had like chosen to do, was to go in there. And then that Ian came home and while looking for Bart, didn't find him. He never showed back up, and the biggest clue in his flat was this flyer that he had like had in a place where that was like, that's my biggest cue. And then when he goes in, because Ian did tell you guys, he also went in there and talked to the doctor. Um, the way he described it being really honest, you're actually not aware of. Because it seems as though Ian was a compulsive liar in a lot of ways. So you do have a few more connective things for information. You have had a little more clarity to things potentially. The Inspector Greg is like, so what do you guys what are you guys thinking? Because if because we talked to Dr. Filorn first, it didn't seem like he sort of cut all Ian up. But it seems as though he might have more information than he had been willing to present to us, or we hadn't asked the right questions before.
Hmm. Well, it is a long shot, but I wonder if Bart killed Ian. If the experiments that were performed on him changed him so much, it might have made him kill his friend.
Do you have some sort of information that the things Dr. Forlorn does increases someone's aggression?
No. I mean, except for me, because I hate him. And I did not
Well,
know before.
that's
So
one. You,
my
you, you
aggression has increased. Yes.
okay. I'll accept that as true, as you're admitting it to my face. You meet Dr. Forlorn, you have an operation done on you, and your aggression goes up. And so,
Mhm.
and so it stands to reason that it might happen again. But I would really love another bullet point to make that a pattern before we jump to any conclusions.
Mhm.
You guys don't know of anyone else that has had a limb replacement performed by the doctor?
I met a
Oh,
nice
who
lady.
the old lady? Was she
Yeah.
mean? Was she aggressive?
No. Mhm.
And you guys have seen that?
I have experienced it for asking a question. Yes.
And then to make this really, really sure, you feel like now, okay. No, he looks at Katha. He says, now I've seen you guys operate, and I'm gonna call you the you're the one that can be objective, right? Because the little guy, you get things done. I get it. You're good. You're great. You solved a lot of things today just by yourself. That's great. He looks back at Katha. How reliable do you say the little guy saying that it was unreasonable that Falk was angry with him? What are the chances that he is underselling what he did? Oh, okay, okay. No, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, man of fight, man of action, man of fighting words. You know who you are. You know what you're about. I get that. Cool. So Falk flipped out for you asking a few questions. He got a limb replacement. So that does stand to reason. That does look more like a pattern now. That's two, and a potential third. You're saying it could have been some other guy we haven't run into that's been missing,
Mhm.
gotten some sort of crazy juice put in him, or like had his head replaced by like a robot or something. Is that right?
Mhm.
Something like that?
Something. But I mean, the other student who captured you, he was kind of crazy and desperate and full of prosthetics. They
I
just
I
weren't the doctors.
I think that might have been different things. But no, but you're right. I'll write that down too. That's
They,
unfair of me to not think they are related. He fully pulls out his notepad and he writes that down, like all
it
those names in
could
a
be
pattern,
that
including yours.
humans are just not ready for prosthetics unless they are old.
So what we have here is a pattern of you got more aggressive, Falk got more aggressive. The kid in there, I'm gonna put a question mark next to that, but Lewis, he was pretty aggressive. Old lady, is there a reason she shouldn't be on the list, little guy? Is there a reason? Is it different?
She's very nice. She tells wistful stories about the past that she yearns for, greatness that has passed her.
Okay, old lady's not going on the list. And he says, and we're looking for Bart, who has at least gone to see the doctor. Everyone that the last person they saw him talking about doing, he was going to go try and pull some sort of scam on Dr. Fillon. So I think I think it's getting pretty late in the day, I'm going to go home. I'm going to gather my notes, and I think I will continue this investigation tomorrow. Are you guys going to be joining me? I will go talk to Dr. Forlorn about this Bart and about any sort of aggression that his procedures might cause.
I will be having an operation tomorrow. by the doctor.
What if it makes you even more aggressive? What if
I
it
don't
says,
think that's possible, but I welcome the challenge.
okay,
This is
fair enough.
true. Keitha does
You-
like to pin me down.
I don't need to know about that part of your guys' lives. So
Mhm.
we're this is just my job. So that sounds like we'll reconvene. I'll ask my questions either before or after your operation that you are having. Um, and we'll try to find an avenue forward. Um, so, you guys have a little more information. You guys have the night. Is there anything, Chell? Is there anything you want to try and sort through so that you can, specifically in the directive that you have, getting through this, like there are aspects of this that you don't understand, but you do know this is something that not even just humans do, but any social group has a sort of like problem solving, mystery solving, question answering aspect to their sort of social structure. And you know that getting past this is the thing that's going to get you to where you're going. Like it is inevitable, but you could get there a little faster. Is there any question or problem or like knowledge check or thing you want to do overnight that Chell thinks would get them forward a little faster? Is Will gone? Will, are you muted?
Oh yeah, sorry. I
Oh shoot, I'm okay.
was
Well, I hope
like,
you weren't
yeah,
talking
blah, blah,
too
blah,
much.
blah, blah. I said a lot of very funny stuff. You were
Oh,
impressed.
I believe you. I
Yeah.
believe you. I really do.
All right. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So, same question again. Is there anything Chell like wants to do that thinks would help get these? Uh, you keep saying normal humans. None of the people you're actually dealing with are humans, but like the party here get them through the
Yeah.
human inquisition that they're
Oh
involved
yeah.
in.
No, I understand that. So I still think that either we should get a person to go undercover, uh, just because it seems like the easiest thing. Um, Either we could hire somebody, or like I don't know why the constable. I don't know why. Does he have anybody that we can send undercover to act as a
So
somebody
you're
who could actually do the thing? You know?
So you know that Komarov is going to be in there like in a legitimate way.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for like so like gathering an amount of the right questions for Komarov to ask, finding a way that he could somehow facilitate, or the options I'd think Chell would think of, because you're
So
like hiring someone can be
yeah, no,
risky, but Komarov is going in
no.
there.
The reason why Komarov isn't a good agent, at least in Shell's opinion, is because like people who prey on things, do so because they feel like there won't be any consequence. And Komarov clearly has people who cares about him and will ask questions if he goes missing. So somebody who does not have that baggage to the doctor, where he will do the stupid evil shit that we suspect him of doing, the experimentation won't happen to Komarov because the doctor knows Komarov has people watching for him, looking after him. So there's no opportunity to do that with Komarov. So that's how come he thinks it should be an unknown person.
Well, what I was saying was an option is that Komarov being there legitimately means that he could either sneak around or open a door
Yeah,
for
which is
you
fine.
guys.
I think catching the doctor in the act gives us more um,
Uh,
leverage.
make a make a medicine check.
1 second. I am out of the room because I was monologuing.
That's all good. I
Yeah.
do that. I've definitely like you guys have been like, oh, I'm gonna roll, and then I'm like definitely getting water.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, yeah,
Water.
okay, that's good.
All right, so medicine
Yeah.
and click. 23.
23. Chell, you have found the best answer for so like you've done the math. You have with the information you have, you've done the math, and you are right. That is absolutely the best way to close the book on this. Catch him in the act. Get someone in there that they think no one cares about so that they will be acting in a standard way, a nefarious way. You
Yeah.
are absolutely right. Your assessment of the situation is absolutely correct. Uh, Problem with that is that's not faster than what you're already doing. Because some medical procedures in the human body, like the recovery, the actual research, the actual studying, can take months. So the problem with that isn't that you're wrong, it's that it will actually take more time than just sort of accusing someone or like
Well, so here's
finding the
the
right
thing.
guy to say it.
Uh, what we would need to do is make it to where it's believable that Komarov no longer has anybody looking after him, right? So what we should do is appropriately injure Komarov where and have the constable take him in and say that everybody else was killed, and so on and so forth, and that he insisted that we take Komarov there. That way, he could be evil, and then we can catch him in the act on Komarov, right? Because if he thinks that Komarov doesn't have any party members or anybody looking after him, maybe he'll try to do evil shit to Komarov.
That is a significantly faster plan than hiring someone else, especially someone that you would have to either lie about or find someone legitimately with
Yeah, I'm not
whatever
saying we should swing
blood
by the
juice.
orphanage and
Yeah.
find some children's or anything.
Uh,
Um,
you walk in, I'm looking for an acrobat. Someone who doesn't have parents anymore.
yeah.
And they're like, I don't know, I don't want you to be in the building anymore. You don't move like a
I will be a
guy.
caring and loving parent to said human.
The human child will be taken care of. He will not be
I
a
will give them
weapon of
much
war.
nutrients.
The,
Eat these eggs.
eggs have so many nutrients that you need. Yeah, so that is a significantly faster plan than the hiring someone part of things that you were thinking of earlier. Go ahead and so you have been here for the inspector's questions that he's been asking. You've been given information and clarity that you were lacking previously just for not having been in the room. Is Chell trained in nature or arcana?
Arcana.
Arcana? Go ahead and roll arcana for me.
Okay.
Just sort of while you're trying to solve problems.
I'm good at
I
solving
like
problems. Alright. Alright. Then there's the button.
21.
Look at me
21 is
not rolling
pretty
like
good.
garbage for once. Isn't that weird?
So it's got to happen sometime. The
Yeah,
statistics
allegedly.
demand it. Allegedly, I say that, but my roommate, uh, the guys know her. They play with her. It's pretty consistently bad.
Yeah.
It's very it's like phenomenally bad. Like just how much it is. But Chill, you're sort of doing the arithmetic. You're trying to solve problems. You guys are like walking to where you were going to be staying, which I believe is still the Mule's Rest, at least for Katha. Um, I don't know that. I think Chell last thing Chell did was stay in like a
Yeah.
nice hotel.
Yep.
But I'm not certain what their choice on being closer or farther away from the rest of the party was. Um, oh. because it was close to your meeting point, I think was what Chell's thing was.
Yeah.
Um,
Proximity.
so Chell's probably not. Yeah, proximity, but it is on the way to the Mule's Rest. The Mule's Rest is sort of between on the other side of these other places that you're stopping. So on the way, you're doing the arithmetic. You have the information they're talking about. You do know things about magic and like in theory. You know what? Supplementary. You'll get information regardless. Go ahead and give me a craft check as well. Are you
All
trained
right.
in crafting?
I have a mod bonus, but I don't think I'm trained now.
Go ahead and roll it anyway. It might come out remarkable.
I
No.
do
So
not know anything about crafting.
so you don't know anything about crafting. You're not able to
Yeah.
facilitate all that, but you did make that earlier medicine check.
Yeah.
So
I
so
have
there is some information that
academia.
you are able to line up. So you know that the doctor is looking for people with some sort of elemental bloodline. You know Komarov, and you've seen him demonstrate really remarkable elemental powers. He can like warp the earth around him. He can produce water into like usable tools temporarily um, for combat purposes. He can like create tools out of pretty much nothing. He can generate matter from his body. He is a remarkable specimen that does fit what the doctor's looking for. And you're looking at the arms and you're thinking, you weren't there when he was giving his explanation, but you know and can see with like that the reason the doctor would be looking, the only reason that this would be really specifically aligned would be because the arms need a power source, and it can't just be the human body or the mortal body. There needs to be something extra. Like the way he's so natural and dexterous with them, despite hating them and their presence on his body, needs to be like there needs to be a reason they act to his will so flawlessly, and it's because they're running off of whatever power source he has access to. And it's also the only reason the doctor would be looking for people specifically with a history of that. Like whatever the doctor has found out about like replacing parts of the body, you're thinking in the moment, having just been thinking about medicine and how long things take and like the magic necessary for all of these things. You're not aware of how the arms work. That's an engineering thing, but you know that everything needs a power source, and you know that that's not the muscles. You know that's not the blood.
Right.
Like the meat is powered by those things. The metal needs to be powered by something else.
Yeah. So I'm monologuing all those thoughts as I'm having them, like it's an episode of House.
Yeah.
You know.
You start limping a little bit, and you're like calling everyone
Yeah.
an asshole.
Oh, 100. Yeah. No. But like you know how like it's just like time to exposition dump. I'm
Yeah.
doing that. Like full on like it's an episode of Star Trek and we have to reverse polarity on the deflector dish.
Yeah.
You know?
Um,
Yeah.
So Chell is saying all of these things out loud. Chell has connected a bunch of dots that you guys had missed in your previous um, previous thing. Komarov, go ahead and make me another nature check now that you've had these things lined up. And Kathar, go ahead and make a religion check, just sort of associated with some things. You could remember this thing and connect the right dot, or you could not. Komarov, I think you. Let me. You know what? A 16 is right on the edge. I'm going to check my notes here. Kathaw, though, Kathaw, you were given information that like the doctor was looking for something kind of specific. Um, but there is a just earlier today you discovered something that was I'm not going to put words in Kathaw's mind. I mean that is my job actually, but I'm not going to make your feelings about those things necessarily concrete. But my assumption is that discovering that there were people that had sort of demonic bloodlines could be pretty upsetting. Is that fair to say? Probably more so to Tivin, but Katha has a relationship with that information, right? Yeah, like it is proof of something at least, right? Yeah, like there's some sort of potential loophole. Um, to whatever protections it affords the rest of Majia. Um, but the other thing, from what Chell is just saying, and from how confident Bart was, according to these other people that lived around him in the space around him, it is very possible that Bart's bloodline could be used in a similar way. Though it's not elemental, it is potentially an energy source, just sort of like a connection to some sort of demonic sort of aspect of things. So you're thinking that that's a really, yeah, because Ian also like you sort of extrapolated that that was Ian's connection to Bart. Is he said they grew up together and they were the only people that related really well to each other. It's also the reason he never gave up, is because Ian was trying to overcome something about himself, and he was hiding a lot of things about himself, and he knows Bart was doing the same stuff. But now Bart, I think the conclusion you jump to is that is the thing that Bart was going to try and exploit to get through the doors, is to reveal his history in some way and hope that the doctor found that really fascinating and that he could come out with something from it, even just accessing the building, robbing it, in whatever way Bart was a mischief maker and a thief. Um, um, Komarov. Yeah, yeah. So you're running with that. Komarov, Chell has just said a lot of things, and they do make sense
A lot
with your
of
nature check.
factually accurate things.
Yeah, factual. Chell has said a lot of factually accurate information in a way that makes it seem very reliable. Um, and I think the thing that you are thinking of is like the amount of control or the amount of understanding of one's nature in the orcs in order to sort of become one with your element, or potentially the multiple elements you have access to, which is pretty rare.
Mhm.
So I think there's a hiccup that you're seeing in his logic, because there's a hiccup in the information you have internally and culturally. Your aggression comes from somewhere, and it is specific.
Mhm.
It is a true and literal statement that you did become more aggressive after this aspect of things, right?
Mhm.
But it has a focus. And when you were talking to Inspector Greg, who's now no longer nearby, he has gone home. You were talking about that being an aspect of things. You're talking about how Lewis was aggressive, but you also know Lewis was on drugs. Lewis sold and did drugs. Lewis was a crook. Like that sort of chaos that someone puts themselves in is volatile. Like his aggression was about self-preservation, the preservation of his way of life, of the way he wanted to live. He snapped because it was threatened.
Mhm.
And then you're thinking about like the control you need to have over yourself, and without growing up with access to the elements, without access to people that can tell you things about yourself, anyone who holds themselves too rigidly, they are just eaten alive by their elements, assuming they can access them at all.
Mhm.
And then I think you're thinking, what would happen to someone if they had that introduced to themselves? Could they handle it? How would that affect their personality? How would that affect their perception of the world around them? And I think because you're already kind of a volatile guy. You know that about yourself. You interact with the world in a real way, right?
Mhm.
Komarov knows who he is. But you have to be willing and open to it. So resisting it would make you go crazy and the elements wouldn't work for you. And
Yeah.
I think this is the moment you remember that Falk wasn't just angry. He was also actually like putting off an unhealthy and insane amount of heat.
Mm.
But you have no reason to believe that Falk has some sort of elemental bloodline. He
Yeah.
he he was a fighter, he was a straight shooter, he was the captain of a guard garrison, trying to make his way up in the city, well-to-do parents, sort of straight-laced guy, sort of a rule follower.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I don't think you think that the elements you have access to and rule followers by nature would be very cohesive together.
Mm.
So you guys have this sort of open discussion where Chell is sort of connecting a bunch of dots, house-esque in front of you, talking about medicine, talking about magic, talking about power sources, talking about like the way things needs to be. No matter how magical magic seems, it comes from somewhere. You have to access something. Um, Katha has this sort of existential thought about the labyrinth and what lies in underneath and whatever cracks might be um, being widened potentially to loosen that influence, what that means for what's going on here in Minralthan. And Komarov has a sort of realization about some things that happened um, earlier today and just sort of in general as well. Do you guys want to do anything before you rest for the night? Any more questions you want to ask? Any more checks you want to make?
Mm. No.
Okay. Chell?
No, I am as good as well.
Okay. So you guys go to your places of rest for the night. Um, Leoxandra welcomes Komarov back to their room. Um, Bolshoi looks kind of a little bigger. You've only been gone like 7 or 9 hours. Big as hell. Full mouth of teeth. 3.5 feet tall. He could arm wrestle. He could arm wrestle people. Alexandra looks like his arms are tired. Not a strong brawl. Um,
Mm.
you guys spend the night and you wake up with the day ahead of you. Komarov has his operation. Inspector Greg is going to be going back up to the lab to ask these more specific questions now that you have a little more information. Hey, we wanted to ask you a few more questions. We have discovered some things since last we talked. Normal inspector things. Was there anything specific Katha and Chell wanted to do?
Chell is Chell is content to um not do anything. I
Okay.
will disappear with Katha then. Or yeah.
Yeah. So okay. Um, So Inspector Greg and Komarov go up. Komarov, would you have been looking for? Are you going to be making any preparations? Are you just going to run up? Are you going to be like interacting with the inspector? How into the lie that Katha and Chell wants to put forward to try and influence the doctor's behavior? How willing is Komarov to do that?
Let's see. That's not where we're going into this plan, but okay. Uh, so, to make sure I understand the plan is to say that essentially, they don't want to hang out with me anymore, and they're tired of my shenanigans and my superior way of life, and flaunting it in front of them. Okay. Well, he doesn't
Other
have to lie too much about this, so I think he'll.
The other question is Komarov going to be part of? Are you going to try and interject yourself to be part of Inspector Greg's inquisition? Or are you going there strictly your own personal business?
Um, so Komarov basically doesn't want to do any questioning until after he gets his new arms. Like,
Yeah.
because he's like, this is the only way I know how to fix these arms to make them better for all the things I need to do. So we can figure out how to kill him after that.
Are you going to try and influence Inspector Greg at all? Because he did say he was going to be coming early.
Um, I think for Inspector
It
Greg,
is okay if you're done with Inspector Greg. If you guys he's on rails now.
um, I feel like Komarov would, um, like, I think the first thing is in the morning, Komarov would tell Alexandra about some of the things they found, and is going to be like, if something happens and I change because of these new arms, I want you to tell Chell to kill me. Yes?
He'll do it too.
Chell will do this. I do not know what Chell is, but he will do this. And I cannot ask you to do it.
Truly, I'm not sure I would be able to do it. And I mean in a very like as much as that can double as an emotional way. I wouldn't want to do that.
Mhm.
I don't think I could at all. I don't think I could do it. I think you would overpower me pretty easily. So I will take it in under advisement, uh, as per your wishes, as my husband, that you want the the new person in big, smooth, polished armor. If you come back and you start acting different in a bad way, in a
Mhm.
way that seems permanent, as determined by me, your doctor, for normal things, that I will ask Chell to kill you.
Yeah, I
With the
think.
caveats I have just presented, which I think you understand
Mhm.
in a way that makes sense, I agree.
I think Katha would hesitate too much.
I think you're correct with that. I I think for the thing you're talking about, probably a little bit. I get that. I think Kathar would always do what was necessary, though. So maybe if Chell starts swinging and Kathar's hesitant, that'll be what gets the juices running, right?
Hmm.
Is the
No
juices running
matter.
a sex thing?
You're not there for this conversation.
That's happening at your tavern. Like, what do you mean this meat is juicy? um, and he also says, but we will always be connected no matter what. So you may provide the distraction that they need. Though I
Yeah,
do
he sort
not
of
wish
reaches out
you to
and
see me like that.
yeah, he doesn't reach out for your hand. He reaches out for your shoulder, sort of like the bicep
Mhm,
area. And right outside the room is that like one rain cloud that follows Alexandra around, just sort of blocking view for the rest of the city.
mhm,
And he looks out and he says, I'll always be able to find you and you'll always be able to find me. And he squeezes
mhm.
your arm.
All right. We are going to do another crazy plan, but I should be back.
I have seen enough crazy plans go by where only some people died and they were never you. So I'm
Mhm,
going to trust you and your abilities to do crazy things. You lived like this before we met and you continued living like this after we have met. So there's nothing I could do to stop you. I just have to trust.
But I
Bolshoy is rolling
wanted to
around on the
warn
ground.
you just in case. I do not want to blindside you to the dangers that may come up.
You know what? I think this is a big step forward for you. You
Hmm,
usually just run off and do something crazy without saying anything, so thank you.
it's true. You're welcome.
He pulls you into like a really strong, long embrace and he whispers in your ear. He's like, please come back though. I don't know what to do with the giant boy that we have taken on.
Mhm,
I I do need the support, and if you need medical care, I'm still here. Don't forget that. Don't give up. Sometimes
mhm,
things go away.
mhm.
Sometimes medical procedures are temporary. The things they do to you and how they're weird. Just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind.
Yep.
Um, and he sends you off. Did you have questions that you wanted to run by Alexandra while you had access to his sort of medicine check capabilities?
No, I think
Okay.
everything's fine there.
Okay.
And then he'll go find Inspector Greg and uh, uh, he will just say, uh, I know you're going to question Dr. Filorn, but do not press too hard. His assistant is quite more formidable than the student who is desperate. And if you feel like you might be in danger, um, I would feign ignorance or a false conclusion if you can.
He says, taken under advisement. I get what you're saying. I wasn't gonna go too crazy. But like, as much as he seems central, person of interest, different than being a suspect, you know. So
Mhm,
I'll be more careful. I don't think this guy's as volatile as uh the other guy. So
mhm.
as Lewis.
Yes.
Um,
news.
al-
That
Also,
is.
Dr. Forlorn has reputation in town. Uh, the the rest of the constabulary knows where I am, and I will make sure he knows that everyone knows where I am as well. I think I will be okay, but I understand and appreciate your concern.
Mhm.
Um,
And
so he
then
goes in.
we'll head to the university together because
Mhm.
Komarov is on another personal mission to see if Sam is around.
Yeah, go ahead and make a perception check. You go in ahead and you want to talk to Sam early.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead and make a perception check, a society check, diplomacy check, however you want to sort of try and find them.
Hmm. I mean, if my great janitor friend is there, maybe he will know. But I can't remember who works in the morning.
I think we established the janitor works in the morning, and then the old lady that also works at the city, the forum building,
Mhm.
works nights.
Okay.
She just doesn't sleep.
Mhm.
She has two full-time jobs.
We're all too afraid to ask, I think
She,
is what it is.
I think she's talked about her family being like really big too. She's looking for reasons to not be home, I think is what it is. You you can extrapolate that. Oh yeah. So you go in and you ask the great janitor
Mhm.
who's like sort of working the desk. He's like sweeping the floors. He's like going through stuff. Where Sam is. And he tells you Sam doesn't have any assigned classes at this point in time. So you think she's probably just going to be in her room, which you know where it is.
Mhm.
Um, you go up there, knock on the door. She's like sort of a more advanced student. She has her own room. She opens it. Um, Significantly cleaner than the other guys' rooms. She opens the door very less timidly than she did yesterday, and she
Mhm.
looks sort of around and then down. She says, "Oh, hello there. What? Um, did you have other questions for me?"
Uh, Not so much a question, but just a big secret. And he pulls the leg out that I didn't mention that we took, but I was
Oh
like,
shit!
I'm taking it.
No, I think you mentioned it to me. Um,
I'm like, I have retrieved your leg. You should make more. They are very good at what they do.
you pull the leg out, and she flinches for a second. And she's like, "This is so sweet of you.
Mhm.
I have I don't she like very gingerly takes it into her hands because she's seen it kick people. She knows what it's
Mhm.
capable of. She very carefully takes it over, places it on like her workbench, which is super neat, right in the middle, where she can then. She's learned a lot. It's been several months since it went missing.
Mhm.
She's learned a lot since then. She sets it down and she says, "Is there anything I can do for you? You've been so nice to me, and now you've retrieved something I was really worried about in a real way and I hadn't really realized was weighing on me.
Mhm.
Is there something I can do for you?"
I don't think so. I just wanted to tell you that I think part of the problem is the leg is out of balance. You need two, because then if you had two of these, you could move much faster.
I think you're right. I'm worried they would just kick twice as many people, but I'll look into it. I really will. Thank you so much, little. I'm sorry. I don't think I remember your name.
Mhm. I am Komarov. Yes.
She leans down and gives you like a very heartfelt hug.
Hmm. You will return the
says,
hug.
she says, you seem really a little more intense than maybe I would like to see all the time, but if you need anything, do let me know. You've been very nice to me.
Hmm.
Taught me a little bit about the world. Sometimes
Hmm.
you need someone who's a little intense to teach you things that you wouldn't have otherwise.
Exactly.
Um, was there anything else Komarov wanted to do? Talk to Sam about?
No, that was it. We just wanted to
Okay.
return the leg and to encourage her to make more legs because he thinks they're fantastic weapons.
Make a diplomacy check to see if you convinced her to make legs as is, because she's planning on trying to learn from the leg.
Hmm. Do I want?
She
How
she
hard?
sort of says she's sort of is like, say again.
I didn't know if I wanted to hero point it, and I'm like, nah, we'll
Okay,
let
yeah,
this go. I'm like,
yeah,
his reasoning's not good. It's okay.
yeah. No, yeah. So she doesn't tell you no, but she does
Mhm.
sort of like gloss over it. So you go down. You go down and you're allowed. Bronin lets you in without. He knows you've got an appointment today. Um,
Mhm.
Bronin lets you in. Um, you go down, and Inspector Greg is already down there. They're in the office, and Bronin actually starts to lead you to a different room. One of the actual like procedure rooms.
Mhm.
Um, and he sort of looks you up and down. He says, um, "You got into a fight yesterday.
Mhm. It was a good
Was it
fight.
good? It was good.
Yeah,
I haven't been in a good fight in months. The
it
doctor
wasn't
hired
trained.
Oh, those are the best ones, though. He's like you're like just waiting for the doctor, and he sort of like sits across the room for you, sets you on like the like procedure bed and like the room you're in before you go actually into like a clean room, a surgery room. And he's sort of just looking at you like, uh, those are the best fights, though. People that have no real proper training, they always fight the hardest.
Mm. They
Doctor
can
hired me,
be
and I
the
thought
most
at least
unexpected.
the doctor hired me. I thought that there'd be at least more assassination attempts. He seems like a right bastard, but
It
so
does
far it's just
seem
been
that.
the one.
Yeah, the one attempt.
Yeah, some blonde guy broke in screaming about something. Someone he didn't know where he was a little while ago. He didn't
Mm.
pull a knife or anything, so I thought it'd be best just to kick him out.
Mhm.
He didn't fight back.
Yeah, he was a little desperate about some friend of his named Bart.
But
Mhm.
sort of sort of sounds familiar.
Yeah,
You,
the doctor
uh,
recruited his services. I'm not sure how long ago.
Go ahead and is there a check you would like to do to try and get specific information out of Bronnin in the moment? He's sort of like envious that you were out having like you clocked Bronnin as like someone who lived an exciting lifestyle until like basically now,
Mhm.
and you had that moment where you decided you guys were gonna fight one day, and now he's sort of like touching on that connection, just sort of in a moment where he knows that like you're the most dangerous thing in the building, so he needs to be there with you.
Mhm.
So if you'd like to try and get information out of him, he's sort of put his guard down, or at least dropped the professional persona in the moment.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I think I will just play up that uh it is a frustrating and lonely experience, and you will tell him how uh his companions have left him for now, because they were afraid of his prowess and just couldn't handle, feeling bad. They were quite jealous of him, especially during the fight. And he'll just embellish the fight to be like, yeah, it was all me. So
Yeah.
we'll do deception.
Oh.
We'll use the hero point here.
Now you use the hero point.
Yeah. Hero
Nine doesn't
point.
quite do it.
Hero point. Save my story. Roll something better than the 3.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought that you rolled another 9. I was like, oh damn.
Yeah, no, that would suck.
Yeah.
That's my move.
It happens all the time.
Oh
8.
my gosh.
Less than. Okay. Yeah. Hey.
So
The way
yeah.
I think it goes, I do it is I talk about how great it was, but keep for I leave in all the times that I missed and couldn't hit, and
Mhm.
like the story just doesn't add up.
Yeah. Yeah,
uh,
you're like saying
there's
that it
that.
was all you, but then like you do bring up that Tivin got the last hit on
Mhm.
and turn the leg off.
And so it's uh, like I think it'll work, but like it sounds like Komarov is just not very good as he says he is, which is true, I suppose.
Mhm.
But
That
yeah.
that might be a fair assessment of Komarov. So Bronin is sitting there, sort of he listens to your story really intently, and Komarov doesn't necessarily get this, but like he catches like every like honest part of the fight, and it seems as though he's still excited about it. He
Mhm.
doesn't call you out necessarily on all of your falsehoods, but he does sort of listen and pick out all of the things that you've embellished, and he says that does sound like a really good scrap. I've never fought anyone, surprisingly enough, I've being surrounded by all of this stuff. I haven't fought anyone with any sort of like the metal limbs. Not in a way that I thought anyone was actually going to get hurt. I guess we
Mhm.
have to restrain some people that don't take very well to it. They have to be held down sometimes, but that's not really a fight so much as it's just the meat not accepting the metal, you know.
Yeah. I do seem to have been lucky in that regard. Whatever he did to make these, they seem to
Uh,
like me.
he he holds still and sort of watches you as you like look down at your arms and like sees the obvious contempt you have for them,
Mhm.
and he sort of says, "This is not a bad gig. The money's good. The doctor lets me and my boys do pretty much whatever.
Mhm.
But I do miss the game, running around, having stuff you want to get done, goals. Um,
Mhm.
so I envy you in a lot of ways. You and your free sort of way of life. I'm a bit past it, a little older. Um, I do want to say, doctors are right. Hard ass, callous. Just like anyone who's just stands out from anyone else. I will say, he does let slip sometimes that you are the reason that he has sort of you're the benchmark in what he's working on now. He acts hard, but he's excited when you he says there's something about it. He says there's more to learn. down there, so get him for all he's worth. You know, he'll try to pass it off as one thing, but you've got a little more pull than he'll let you know. And then he stands up to sort of stand outside the room again. And I think it's after 9 now. Next time we will have the procedure go, and you guys can finish your conversation. We'll do any checks with the doctor and with Bronn, anything else anyone wants to bring up before we end, anything anyone wants to establish before we end, any shenanigans or questions. Okay, so you're setting up
Yep.
positions.
Start the
Okay,
stakeout.
so-
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys hit stakeout things. So you guys wait. Yeah. Yeah, you guys full setup, just big old pot of coffee.
Bean pizza.
Huge bag of boiled eggs.
Welcome to Bean Hut. What can we do for you today? Chel's just got more boiled eggs. They're so efficient. You can house like a whole jar. You can house like a whole jar in one sitting. It's perfect. Some people have magical energy fueling their metallic body parts, and Chell is powered by milk and eggs.
Protein. Yeah.
Just all protein. All right, so you guys set up positions.
They're not white. I don't eat the yolks. I just eat the whites.
Just the white. So wait, so you just do you suck the egg in and then do you spit out the yellow part?
No, he probably just peel it off, eat it, and throw the yolk. Be more efficient that way.
Okay, yeah. Just
I was
like
imagining like it's an extra
psychotically
part of
efficient.
his, like, sort of like cheek pouches. It just you eat
Shell
them and
only
they
eats and drinks white food and fluids.
Okay,
and
yeah.
so the yellow centers go to his cheek pouches, which are passed on later.
Different. They're processed totally differently. Different
Mhm.
organ. Um yeah, and Katha's probably eating the raw eggs and the shells because they're really good for your scales. Like
Oh,
you
shells
just
are
need it.
white. Shell will eat a shell.
So you peel the boiled egg.
I would crack the
rem-
egg open, pull the yolk out, throw it away, and eat the white parts. Yes.
And it's got to be like so psychotically efficient. Like you've got like a little paring knife, and you can do it in like 4 seconds.
Yeah.
just like perfectly.
Shell will just give a confused look and be like, "No,
No conversation. Conversation over. Uh, I think
that is not." Yeah, it's just like clearly he means that is not how food works. Like,
yeah, he
like
fully
you're
doesn't understand.
stupid. I don't know why you're doing this, but I'm not gonna be
It's
tricked by you.
like
I have to
why would you
go.
eat something that had a color in it?
Yeah.
Disgusting.
I have to
Actually, it's the
go.
opposite. White is
Lock up.
all colors. Anything that is a single color will cause imbalance. Everybody knows that.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
No,
I have to lock up my mayonnaise now.
yeah,
Mayonnaise is off white. Shell will not eat that.
it is not pure enough.
It is corrupted white. Ugh.
Wait till Chell finds milk that hasn't been processed.
Shell whip.
Yeah, actually, Chell, if you want white ass white milk, it's got to be goat's milk.
Oh yeah,
Goat's
probably.
milk doesn't turn yellow. Like
Yep.
cow's milk has like a yellow tint to it. Goat's milk is white.
Yep.
So Chell comes in
Goat's
with a
milk it
big
is.
old jug of goat's milk, boiled chicken eggs. He's pulling the yolks out and just throwing them on
Oh
the floor.
yeah. And he'll do stuff like shellfish because they have white meat.
Yeah.
You know. Um. Stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. So Katha is aghast at Chell's eating habits and how Chell explains why it's right. You're listening to someone talk actual pseudoscience. It's like when you meet someone who's in sort of a protein induced psychosis in the gym. You're like, that's not medicine. And they're like so confident and they're also
Except I have
actually drunk.
medicine trained and academia, so it is. I'm
That
explaining it
that's the
high level.
confusing part, is like
Yeah.
Chell's not an idiot. You think Chell's just weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? I am a completely
Chell
normal human,
reminds me of
just
a
like you, fellow
scientist
human.
who
I know.
Chell
Bill
reminds me of
knows.
the
Chell calls you
scientist
fellow human.
that was all in on vitamin C. Chell reminds me of the scientist that mm, I don't know.
All right.
Good job,
Operation
Brandon.
is underway.
SBD. Silent but deadly.
Speedy.
Yeah. Operation SBD.
I'm just saying with how many eggs we're eating.
Oh yeah. No, that's fair. That's so fair. That's so fair. Chell does have medicine after all. They know.
Mhm.
Have a great day.
Looks like my microphone was not working the whole time.
Whoa, that
Wonderful.
sucks. That's so bad.
Well, it wasn't being picked up by OBS. Of course it wasn't.
Mm.
Oh well. Have a great night, everyone, and welcome
Oh,
to the
you as well.
problems with streaming.
Yeah.